able to learn the pattern at the heart of the game. That, they say, demonstrated enhanced mental capacity and the ability to problem solve. Bill Rakoff, CBS News.
It must be, it has to be, with that big sound it's gotta be KSCO.
You're listening to KSCO, serving aromas, the Carmel Highlands, and Paraiso Springs.
Good morning, everybody. You're listening to AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz, KSCO.com. 10:06, a beautiful Saturday morning here in Santa Cruz. It's August 12, 2017. I'm Jason Strube. It's time for a quick look at the traffic. Highway 17 through Los Gatos, 5 miles an hour southbound. Northbound, all clear, all the way to San Jose. The rest of Highway 1 in Monterey County and Santa Cruz County, all clear. Maybe a quick tap of the brakes northbound through Aptos. 101 heavy northbound just north of Prunedale. Had an accident earlier in the area just past 8 a.m. Collision 101 northbound at San Juan. Reported 10 minutes ago. Upper 60s today and tomorrow. It's 10:06. And your boater's forecast includes a small craft advisory that's in effect through this evening. It's time now for the one and only Saturday Special with your hosts, Mike Z, KSCO.
God, I love that music. Where'd you get that, Jason Strube?
I dug deep for that one.
Boy.
Dug deep, and it is not copyrighted.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Wow. So, do you use that other than for the Saturday Special?
Never.
God, that is so cool. That's great.
Thank you.
Okay, how are you feeling today?
Feeling
Be
good.
honest.
Feeling great.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. How are you doing?
Good.
You look nice today.
There must be some mistake.
No.
You know, I usually don't look very nice
Yeah.
because it's radio. You know, you don't have to look nice.
Right.
Anyhow, we are going to have a very different kind of a program today.
Good.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Do you have any idea how different it's going to be?
Not a clue.
Okay. Well,
Can't wait to find out.
We are all going to find out right now as soon as I can, start the program officially here.
Good morning.
Yeah. Oh, you're doing it. Okay, good.
Is here. Good morning. May we bring you cheer.
We've got time, we've got tunes, we've got time, tunes, and temperature.
Get up and go, it's today, you know, on KSCO Radio.
Okay. Well, everybody likes that jingle, because they're familiar with it, right? Okay. Now, do you think that we could get younger people to tune into the radio station and appreciate that jingle? Do you think that's possible? Or is it just too old fogey sounding? I don't know. One of the topics we're going to be talking about today, right up until 12 noon, we hope you'll stay with us, and we'll participate at 479-1080.
Good morning. Now stay right here on KSCO Radio.
Okay, everybody, meet Robert.
Hello.
Robert is 15 years old. He is my guest on today's Saturday Special. I've known Robert for probably a decade and a half, but have only recently gotten to know him a lot better. And he has fascinated me because of some things that have happened in his recent life.
Yeah.
And involving the school system. Robert is from Ashland, Oregon. I mean, that's where you live.
Yeah, yeah.
And come a little closer to the mic, please. And so you've lived in Ashland for how long?
Most of my life.
Uh-huh. Okay. And you've attended public schools in Ashland?
Yep.
Until recently.
All three of them.
A little closer to the mic. Like
All
an
three
inch
of them.
away. Good. All three of them. Okay. And what has changed recently?
Well, what has changed recently is I am now homeschooled, and I'd say for good reason.
Okay. Why are you home? Did you want to be homeschooled?
Partially, and then the other half said stay with the school, but the school, the people in it, they didn't want me.
The other half? What do you mean the other half?
I mean, the other half of the argument in my mind was
okay.
to stay with the school, but one side was I'm done with this. I can't take this anymore.
Oh, so it's your decision.
Yeah,
You weren't expelled or kicked out
I
or
wasn't.
anything.
I wasn't officially expelled. It had come before me and my father, and I guess my mother, but she wasn't there at the meeting. To finally just take me out of the school because of what they were doing. They were recommending me for they were requiring that I have a psychological assessment done. Simply for my I believe simply for my views. When at the time when I was recommended for at the time when I was suspended, at the end of my time in the school.
Which was when?
In mid-January of this year. Yes.
Okay, not too long ago.
Yeah.
All right, and you were in high school, like 10th grade?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so it was recommended that you go to another school or have some sort of and what was the reason for this? You say you believe it was for your views. What did they tell you?
What they told me is that they said that I was. Their reasoning was that I was a unstable and violent individual, which
Violent?
Which, if you know me well, I am clearly not.
I do, and that is correct. But why did they say that?
Why did they say that? Because they found a small knife in my backpack when they were searching around in there, and after a certain point.
Why were they searching in your backpack?
Well, they were searching in my backpack because they had searched my backpack randomly because that's the way schools work now, I guess.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
They'll do things like locker checks, backpack searches, and random assessments on people. Ask them random questions, and if they do the wrong answer, they'll start a big investigation on them or something.
So you're not allowed to have pocket knives in schools anymore.
No, and I find that to be somewhat absurd.
And did you know about that, or is that just a recently?
I did know about that, but I did not know it was in my backpack, as it had been in there for years.
I see. Yeah, it's sort of like when you're going through security at the airlines. I mean, a lot of times
exactly.
in my backpack, there's stuff that they take away from me that I'm not supposed to have. That there wasn't a rule that you weren't supposed to have that. Recently.
Yeah, like even hair care products, and which I find kind of absurd, although I can see why. But still, one of the things that I've noticed is that they don't care how many bottles you bring if they're the right size, but they only care how big the bottle is, which is clearly a loophole there. That's the problem.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, and so okay, so your backpack was randomly searched. I mean, did they ask you to turn it over, or did they go into your locker where you had it?
I was. It wasn't exactly random, but it was basically. I mean, they don't ask you things like that. They just basically go up and first of all take you into the office, and then start asking you all these questions, and then eventually say. What is it? May we search your backpack? If you say yes, they'll search your backpack. If you say no, they'll, I don't know. I'd expect they'd kick you out basically. or give you some sort of
But you don't know. You said yes. They found this pocket knife that had been there for a long time that you had forgotten about.
it was yes, exactly.
A box cutter.
Not exactly a box cutter, but basically, for the purpose of cutting things like boxes. Yeah, it was a similar thing.
Okay.
It was basically a box cutter, but
Okay, then what happened? Did all hell break loose then? Or did they just take it away and you
basically,
said, you can't take it away, it's mine? What happened?
they won't give you back your stuff. I had a friend who had a $100 or so stiletto, and he got that taken away. He never got that one back. But that's what the schools do. They won't give you back the stuff they take. They say they'll give you they'll give it back once they finish their investigation, but they never finish their investigations on a person for I don't know what possession of get this, violent materials or violent items, such as they referred to a small blade as a knife, or sorry, not as a knife, sorry, as a weapon, and
You might as
when
well have been
clearly
packing
it's
a
tool.
gun.
They'd probably
They
treat
put
a
it
gun
in
as
the same
exactly
category?
the same category. Which might I add, a friend of mine has had the same problem with an airsoft gun, which is not which did not actually work. It wasn't working. It was defective, and he had it in his backpack as a prop for something or for a film that we were doing. He had a similar problem.
Well, at least they're honest with you at the airport security.
Yeah.
They when they take your thing, they just say, "I'm sorry, you can never have it back." They're not too honest with you in the schools. They say, "Oh yeah, you'll have it back when you finish our investigation," but they never finish it.
Yeah, not only that,
Right,
but as what is it? So what went on is immediately I was suspended for about 2 days, which
What was the reason for the
the
suspension?
reason for the suspension was possession of items that violate the code of the
Why not 2 weeks or 2 months or forever? Why 2 days?
2 days. Because 2 days after that they said they were going to do some sort of assessment on my behavior throughout my time at the schools, which, if anyone has known me, I have been a bit of a joker, somewhat of a not exactly
Class clown?
total not exactly total troublemaker, but I love to make jokes, and a lot of the time they will be jokes that in many cases will get people offended, angry.
What kind of joke? What's an example?
What's an example? I don't know.
Don't mean to put you on the spot, but this is great. We like to have jokes occasionally.
Well,
here on
jokes.
But particularly the more offensive.
Yes. Specifically, that might
The
that
more
might refer
politically
to-
incorrect, the better.
Exactly,
Are
yes.
you? So you like to do those?
Yes.
Well, surely you can come up with one that you can share with us right now.
Well, maybe so. I don't know. I mean,
Do it. Yeah, let's do it. Just think about it. All right. Well, we don't take commercial breaks during the Saturday special. That's probably another thing that's wrong with the radio station. Should we take commercial breaks in the Saturday special, Jason? While Robert is thinking about.
I don't know. I mean,
I think you've got one.
well, yeah. I totally think of something, but it usually goes into a normal sentence or something.
Okay.
So I might as well just carry on as before.
Okay. Well, whatever you want. We could either put you on the spot now, or just say feel free to just be yourself, like you're in
Okay.
school.
Good.
Okay, like the old school, not the new school, because the new school is homeschool, right?
Yeah, basically. And honestly, I gotta say, I have learned more. I have not socially interacted more, but I have learned more.
How do you mean?
And I've got
What
to study the things that matter to me, and not simply that matter to the Common Core state standard.
So it was sort of a blessing in disguise, almost,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But before this whole episode in January, were you pretty happy in school, or not? Or looking back,
happy
maybe
in
not so
school.
much.
I wasn't happy or unhappy with school entirely. It was sort of a mixture of both. And one of the things I'd say that I did like about school were really that there were a lot of people, and there were a lot of people to talk to about stuff.
That, like you said, the social.
Yes,
aspect.
yes. The social aspect was basically the only thing that had kept me liking the place. But then the academic aspect of it was not the best. I would say that one of the things is that I was placed in a class I believed that I had been selectively placed in a class with a large amount of either drug users or gangsters. Or
Wow.
maybe that was just the random chance, but I believe that I was selectively placed in a class with them.
So that you could be, lumped in with such people?
Yes, with the criminals.
Wow. Really?
Yes, basically.
And you're not being overly paranoid?
Not entirely. I mean, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But and for any of the school people that might be listening somehow, yeah, I don't remember liking you ever, except for Miss Martin. Yes, for sure, Miss Martin. The only teacher who was actually nice to me, the only teacher who I actually remember as being remotely likable, and the only teacher who made us read Animal Farm in English class. So sorry, in what is it? They'll call it global studies now. They don't call it social studies. They don't call it civics. They call it global studies. It's basically world affairs and I'd say in many cases the indoctrination type class, if not before. One of the things
Wow.
I see with English is that they don't first thing I see in English is they don't teach cursive and they don't teach grammar anymore, or spelling really. Even in like elementary, I got that in elementary, but I went to I went to a school that was slow to adopt the modern theories of education. So
Probably a good thing, right?
yes, and people have come to me asking how to spell things a lot in school. Which I find to be strange, because I would expect that everyone else would know a lot about yes, everyone else would know a whole lot more about how to read things, how to pronounce things, and spell things, but they're just not teaching it, or either they're not teaching it or they're not learning it. And honestly, I think what I've seen with maybe my sister is that she has been turned off to things such as reading by some teachers who are mind-numbing. I'd say just to describe them in.
You mean
in a few
because
words.
they force you to read things that you're not even remotely interested in?
Yes,
Or
either
is
that or stuff that I'd expect no one really is interested in, especially not sixth graders at the time.
Wow.
She was and the thing is, she wouldn't really be reading stuff most of the time. It would always be things like, read for a short time and then list a bunch of things that you read. What they want you to do is they don't want you to formulate your own thought. They want you to parrot back what you've heard and read before, and write down everything that you see and commit it to memory. And some of the and actually the what goes hand in hand with that is that the administrator that I talked to, the first thing he said when my father and I met with him, when I pointed up to a picture of Lenin on his wall, I asked him, what is that about? Why are you putting a picture of someone who was who played a founding role in a regime that killed millions of people? And he said, Lenin and Marx and Stalin, they were all misunderstood. And I think to myself, so was Hitler misunderstood too? But I didn't exactly say that out loud.
But what you did say probably
What I did say
sufficiently turned the principal off.
basically, yes. I mean, I completely disagreed with him. My father disagreed with him on that one, and it almost became some sort of a debate there. Well, it basically did become a debate.
Okay, and the purpose of that meeting was for the principal to have a discussion with you and with your dad? And
Yes,
was your mom there? Or?
beforehand, and actually, it was a point where I was reporting some abuse that had come towards me. The way from.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah. Okay. So I, at least throughout school, one of the things that has gotten me on their radar, so to speak, has been my opposition to the feminist movement, the third wave feminist movement, with it throughout my school, which is very prominent. I have seen. What is it on the front door of the school, or sorry, the entrance to the school, which are 4 glass doors, and then a large glass wall in the front. There were for quite some time. In fact, they did not remove them up until recently, as far as I know. There were these political posters up everywhere on the wall, and a lot of the time I wouldn't even describe them as political. I would simply describe them as well, first of all, as disruptive. There were these posters such as what is it? The message that I kept on seeing was my body, my choice. What is it? There were there were like the feminist symbols, and what is it? A poster that
okay, so that bothered you.
That would say
that the school was promoting a particular point of view.
That would say.
Did it bother anybody else, or are you the only one it bothered?
I gotta say, I actually don't know, because the thing at least with my school is I would compare it to the way the political climate is in Sweden. You don't tell if you have an opinion that disagrees with the dominant narrative. You either don't speak it, or you speak it and you pay the price. I paid the price, as far as I know. Although,
so it's as bad here as it is in Sweden. Well, I don't mean to put words in your mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweden, getting to know you in the last 24 hours, you're a great student of Sweden, and you've been there a number of times.
Yes.
And you've observed mostly things that you think are unfortunate, right? But
Exactly.
some things that you think are good and that this country could benefit from learning.
Yes.
But mostly, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay, and elaborate on that a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'd like to start at first with one of the good things, private sector security. And although we do have it already, it is in many cases, I observed how well organized theirs are.
Private sector security. You mean for people or for computers?
No, for people, for buildings, for vehicles even, and for vehicles, as in having a what is it? Vehicles as in armored trucks. Although yes, we have those here, but they're somewhat more frequent there. And also for trains, as in the high value freight trains that would be frequent there. In operations.
So you're talking about protecting vehicles from
first of all their thing has been theft, but also things such as rioters or looters or intruders of any kind.
I think we can all agree that those are bad things that should not be tolerated.
Yes. But it's, as far as I've seen in Sweden, they are a whole lot more prominent, or visible in certain areas. And I would like to draw a correlation between those areas, and those areas having high crime rates, and those areas also being hotspots for recent I'd say third world country immigration, and in many cases not even actual immigration, more like illegal immigration, as in people just simply rushing over the border, by the bridge. There's this bridge called Öresund, in between Denmark and Sweden, and the town at the end, at the Swedish edge of the bridge, is now almost entirely 80% of it is now about 80% is non-Swedish. The town is called Malmö, and if you would go into onto the streets there, you won't really see that many people who first of all speak Swedish or English, seem like they lived there before 5 years.
What will you see?
What will you see? Mainly North African and Middle Eastern. As far as I've seen, young men, almost entirely young men. The mainstream media, they'll always show you pictures of women and children and families and elderly, but they won't show you the pictures of those boats coming with thousands and thousands of young men of the age where they could be trained to fight, which is a fear of mine.
Or work.
Yes, or work. But the problem is they're not working. Out of the 500,000, I'd say 500,000 or so, people who have come into Sweden now recently within the last 3 years, very, very few of them. I don't actually have a stat on that, but very few of them have been employed in the workforce, and a lot. Almost not a majority, but a large number of them are homeless, and specifically within the city of Stockholm, Gothenburg, and Malmö. Malmö is the big one. Gothenburg is the second big one, and Stockholm is the third site that everyone knows about. But it's the one that contains the most areas that are considered to be dangerous by not only the citizens but also the police. As in, I'd say North Stockholm mainly. Areas such as well, you wouldn't know the names, but Tensta, Rinkeby, Kista, and similar. And these are the ones you'll hear in the news. Also Husby. All of these places are considered by the police as too dangerous for even them to go into. They won't go into it. Or if they do go into it, only in the case of, they won't respond to calls within that area. But if they're chasing someone and they go in there, they will put on riot gear. Also, fire department when called in there has to have riot gear. Ambulances won't even go in unless they have like two cars police escort, which is insane, because they and you might ask why.
Why?
They get attacked. They get attacked as far as I've heard, not seen firsthand entirely. Although I did sense a whole lot of animosity.
So this is all coming our way, and you've seen it, huh?
And yes, and also, one of the things I see very, very common among the people there is denial of anything being wrong, and the media there won't even talk about it most of the time. The only time they even picked up the subject was when people get murdered. They don't talk when people get raped, but they talk all the time when people get murdered, or that terrorist attack that happened in Stockholm, where a man driving a semi-truck, driving a semi-truck packed full of explosives, drove into a window in the Stockholm Mall, killing 6 people, including a young girl.
Okay, back to your adventure at your public school. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I
get it.
I took you off of that track.
No, that's all right.
So,
they could have
all right,
stopped
you had
it,
a
though.
meeting with your father and your principal.
Yes, that was the first meeting. The reason I had that meeting was because I had come to report abuse directed at me, which in any other scenario would be considered as
Legitimate.
Yes, as legitimate. But in my case, it was basically ignored. I would say that there is a popular group at my school. Okay, yeah, I'd refer it to as my school. There's a popular group there. Of these I don't know what to call them. I don't know what to call them. Lesbians, trenders, or similar. But they are a group of I guess the feminist group.
Jason, why are you laughing and shaking your head?
Things have really changed since I was in school.
Yes, I could expect so.
It hasn't been long. Wow.
Okay, so these people were upset with you for being upset with
they were upset with
feminism being jammed down
First
your
of all,
throat.
they already had some animosity towards me. They didn't like me in the first place, and
because of your views.
well, not before. Actually, not that well. For example, when I was in 7th grade, I would actually sit at the same table with a few of these girls, and although I don't know what to call them now, and well, we would do things like talk and draw things and basically just sit at the lunch table. And I had a friend who the only other guy at the table, and eventually he was pushed out of the group for being well, first of all for being male. Second thing, for for not taking any more of their they would treat me, or the other guy and I, as basically second class or so. I mean, they would treat us like, first of all, they would say things like, I didn't know anything about this, but they would say things like, "You're being offensive right now, you need to stop." And then in many cases, and one time, I actually made a joke. It was a joke directed at two of the two of the girls there who apparently were in some sort of relationship. Oh yeah, they'll never complain about same-sex couples publicly displaying affection in schools, such as hugging or kissing. But whenever they're straight, they'll always go after them. What is it? The school apparently has some sort of blanket ban on public displays of affection, and in every case where I've seen where that has been between two people of the same sex, they will completely look the other way.
Uh-huh.
It's almost comedic. But so continuing with what I was doing, they were they were in some sort of a relationship. I'd say and I made a joke about one of the girls and the other guy in the group. I'd say I made a joke about them hugging for too long. That was it. A joke about them hugging for too long, and I was immediately put on the hate list of the whole group and all of their associates. In fact, to the point where I had been threatened. I had been given death threats by a group of them.
For saying
for simply a joke.
Oh,
phone's ringing.
What?
Double tap it.
Yeah. Okay.
For simply a joke, I had been given basically death threats, and I came to the school's administrator about that too. He said he couldn't do anything about it because the girls who were giving me the threat were at the high school and not the middle school. I was in 7th grade.
Oh.
And yet every single time it's been something else, like someone I don't know, someone made a bad comment about one of the people in the school. It never goes anywhere, or it never goes anywhere. Sorry. Anytime someone makes a bad comment about someone else in the school, regardless of, I mean, really, they have. I remember even since the beginning, they would really not respond too well to incidents where I was, I'd say, harassed or even in some cases bullied by
their reason is because you hang out with older people that they claim not to have jurisdiction over.
Basically, but clearly they do, as I have figured that out before, and actually because I believe I got in trouble at the high school, or rather I was not in trouble at the high school, but rather my record from the middle school had carried over to the high school of things that I had done, and same thing with elementary school, things such as
including receiving death threats. Did that transfer over?
That did not go into their system at all. In fact, that did not even get on record.
Okay.
They were false threats because when I confronted the what is it?
Perpetrator.
Yeah, I'd say they physically attacked me, but physically attacked me. I'd say not completely assaulted, but yes, physically attacked me with clearly not enough intent to commit an actual violent act other than what is it?
Well, wait a second,
Or
Robert.
no, an actual
Did you receive a death threat or not?
Yes, I did. I did receive.
But you're sort of backpedaling a little bit on
I
that.
am backpedaling a
even
little,
yourself.
even myself, because and because when I met with the girl who had threatened me, first of all, one of them, she didn't have that much intent. It all seemed like she would talk big, but would not carry anything out. Although you can never know with psychos, I'm referring to her as a psycho because of, first of all, the way that she would act throughout school or in general, and had actually described herself as being somewhat mentally ill.
Okay.
And they won't take that at point value. They'll diminish that. They won't care about something like that.
Well, it's like
When-
a black can tell a black joke. A black
Exactly.
ethnic joke.
Yes,
right?
yes, and when a white person does it, they are considered to be very racist.
Yeah.
Or but then when a black person makes fun of a white person and calls them what is it? I don't know. Refers to them
Cracker.
badly by their cracker refers to them badly by their race. They are not considered. They are not considered racist. They're just it's just a joke.
Okay. So the upshot of your meeting with your dad and your principal is what? He said
Yes,
don't
was a
worry
double
about
standard.
it. Yeah,
That actually that was not for that. It was another time where one of them had grabbed me by the head and like started like digging their nails into my skin. And
This
started
is one of
calling,
the people that you don't know what to call.
I don't know. Yeah, and I actually I had some previous experience with this one before, as in I had been somewhat, I'd say, bullied at a previous school by this one, and she came up and called me you're a, what is it, a straight white male scum or something. Those weren't the exact words, but they were basically the exact words. Not entirely, but basically. And I what is it? Basically, after that, I said, "Get your hands off me." And what is it? No response, and so I what is it? I pulled away, moved, and left. I simply left the area. I would have fought back, but you're not allowed to do that in school. In school, if you're attacked by someone and you fight back, you're the perpetrator now, and they usually either get off scot-free or with a minor slap on the wrist or whatnot.
Unbelievable. Okay, how did that lead to you saying, you or your father or whoever, just saying, "Screw it, I'm out of here"? Or were you sent out?
I was. Okay, so the point of it is I could sense I was being set up to be sent out of there, because what they were trying to do was they put me up for a psychological evaluation to say, to return to school you must do this, and if we see you unfit to return to school safely, we will take the decision to expel you permanently from all schools within this area.
Okay. Did that happen?
That did not happen, but what was going to happen is if you do this psychological test, which was likely, which was done by one of their doctors, or one of their psychiatrists,
Kangaroo court.
Yeah, you know how it was gonna go, right? And so instead of even going up for it, what is it? My dad and I there basically just told him we're done. We can't take this anymore. And we're leaving.
And he was probably thrilled, right?
Yes. Who?
The principal.
The principal? I don't know. He was all right with it, but I don't know. I mean, yeah. Basically,
he would probably. I would think he would want you, a thorn in his side, out.
Yes, exactly. He wanted me out.
So he got it without having to go through all the big rigmarole.
Yes. I was brought before them. Although I did preserve my chance of possibly going to another school there, in the district, within the Southern Oregon, at any time later.
Okay.
And I didn't get a blacklist or a name on the blacklist, but I did.
Boy.
But on their blacklist for sure.
You might now that you're doing this radio show.
Yeah, maybe so, but I don't know if they're going to see this. If they do, who cares?
Don't you want to send it to them?
If they do,
Yeah.
my message.
I would be very proud of this.
If they do,
radio
my
show.
message to them is I'm I am, what is it? I'm determined to make myself a success without your system.
By the way, we're streaming live on YouTube at KSCO Global. Check it out.
Okay,
Alright.
great. We're talking with Robert, and I'll tell you his name a little later on, but I want the audience to come up with a name for Robert. You know, like we had Mr. Logic, you know, who now lives in heaven, and we have Dr. Future, who does the radio show. Robert is there's a name. There's a perfect name for him, and I want to put it out right now in the next hour and 15 minutes. We're going to open the phone lines pretty soon. Rick in Nampa, Idaho has been calling. We haven't even invited calls, but he wants to talk, and we'll put him on pretty soon here. But
All right.
before we do that, I want to sort of expand on my concern about the very disturbing direction that this country is headed.
Yes.
Okay, and this is a perfect example, you know, what we're hearing today with Robert. Now, we still have a program called Alex Jones that's carried on KOMY Live from 9 to noon, weekdays, and sometimes reruns in the evenings on KSCO.
Oh yeah.
And you know Alex Jones.
Yeah, I do. Hold on.
I mean, you know of him, rather.
The
You know-
school, the school, what is it? A school protected demonstration. I'd say protest went on outside or something. It went on inside and outside the school. And they one of the things that they had said were
Jones
plenty
is a
of
hate
comments saying Alex Jones is a hate monger or Alex Jones is a bigot or
Okay,
racist
and
or something.
so what? So
Or-
what? You were they directing you to not watch him?
No.
or listen to him, or what?
What they were doing is they were saying what is it? Someone's I would see posters for take Alex Jones off the air or something. I saw there, and I also saw stuff like impeach Donald Trump, and actually there had been some posters up around the school that said things such as that said something such as it did not have it simply was a poster that had been put up around the school by I don't actually know who, but it was not removed until it said I wish to kill or I want to kill Donald Trump somewhere around it.
So they left that up for.
Yes, they left that up.
Okay.
They left that up.
Now,
and
if someone put up a instead of impeach Donald Trump, re-elect Donald Trump.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Prepare to re-elect him 3 years from now.
yeah, exactly.
Do you think
It would get shut down.
Immediately? They wouldn't allow that.
As soon as they could, and one of the things.
Okay, that's the problem I
that I've
have.
seen.
I don't have a problem with people putting freedom of expression.
Well, of course,
Impeach
it is
Donald
freedom of
Trump.
expression, but they're selectively enforcing on things. It is
That's
a double
the problem.
standard.
I mean, a poster like that should have invited the Secret Service. really.
Exactly, and yet even so. And also, I'd expect I know that there are some people throughout my town that have that that take part in Antifa or
What's that?
Antifa as in the violent group of they will refer to themselves as peaceful protesters all the time, but they're the ones wearing they're
Black
the ones
masks.
wearing black masks,
Instigating all the violence at the
attacking
protests.
people at protests. They were at Berkeley. They were in Portland.
I remember.
Right.
Yep. They were basically everywhere. They were in Hamburg at G20. They turned Hamburg into a total war zone. At the G20 summit. And the thing is, what I see is that also they were bussed in to Hamburg.
Right.
Okay.
They're well funded, from what I understand.
Yep.
All right,
they are
listen,
well funded.
We're getting too uncomfortably
Sorry.
close. It's okay. It's we're getting uncomfortably close to the top of the hour here, where we are going to take a break. I want to play this little YouTube video from Paul Joseph Watson.
Yeah.
I'm leaving YouTube until they change their policies against us.
Nice.
Now, people are beginning to rise up. The big companies like Google and who owns YouTube, right?
Yeah.
and Facebook are very left-wing, and it's okay to be left-wing as long as you're not suppressing the other side.
Yes.
I don't like labels, but if I had to be a label, people are going to say that I'm more right-wing than not. But I don't suppress left-wing. On the other hand, I encourage it.
Yes, exactly.
And in fact, I received an email recently, just this morning, saying, something like the left refuses to. You have to pick up the tab for everything, MZ,
Yes,
because the left will never give you, will never support anything having to do with your station.
Yes.
And that's so true. It's so true.
Exactly.
But anyhow, here let's play this Paul Joseph Watson thing, because
Yeah.
he's an associate of Alex Jones.
Even if you don't like what they're saying, you gotta protect their right to freedom of speech too.
Yeah. Okay. Here. So, how do I do this here? Computer.
They signal that they're going to change them, Alex. I mean, Congressman Dana Rohrabacher came out with a quote last night: "The mistreatment of conservatives and libertarians by tech monopolies is a civil rights issue," and that's what it comes down to.
This is a video, and if you Google Paul Joseph Watson, this will come right up, because it's only
now listen up, folks.
Yeah, it's only
People
12
want to
hours
claim
old.
they're going to fight for America. All you got to do here is get the word out, say your prayers, support the broadcast, and let everybody in your community, your family, your church understand how serious this is. And we've broken through. Sean Hannity's talking about it, Limbaugh, Levin, Drudge. It's all out there. It's real. And it takes a lot to get folks to say, hey, there's a plan to kill the president and these people are criminals, because it sounds crazy, but they're doing it. And see, it's my job to say the things first. I know we're going on, like I've been doing for 8 months, so we had them off at the pass. So they've gone from doing it covertly to we forced them out overtly, which was my plan. And I told them my plan. So that's where we are right now. And we're only able to do this because we have you, the audience. It's not that I'm that smart. It's you. I haven't even plugged this hour. I need financial support. We are running 2 big specials, the 1776 special and the old special I'm now calling the BuzzFeed special.
He is so brilliant. I mean, this is what we need to take a page out of his book. And for those of you who haven't noticed, that's what we've been doing at KSCO.
Yeah.
If you like KSCO, support us in one of or more of many ways that you can. And so Alex has done this very, very successfully. So anyhow,
Yeah.
Because that's where they have Prop 65, where there's more lead in the air. You have to label it for Prop 65 or you can be sued. It was passed by lawyers to be able to sue companies, not just supplements, to have levels that are impossible to not have in most products. But we are California level. We still do it, even though it's a huge hassle and almost impossible. We're able to do it. They sent it to California, did the testing, and didn't find it. And they're so upset right now. And it made sales explode. People are like, wow, this big lab did this and it's totally clean? I mean, I'm not kidding. We have seen sales go up 40% the last 3 days, 2.5 days. Anyways, Paul Watson, I appreciate you coming on. You're about to go on a well-deserved holiday. But also, let's now talk about the censorship on YouTube and why we're doing this, because I agree with Diamonds and Lace and others and what you're doing. We got to go ahead and pull ourselves off YouTube to illustrate that they want to incrementally shut down free speech.
A new platform.
We have to do this, I think, as a protest to show that it's no longer a platform that can be trusted to make them reform or to get President Trump to move with antitrust action, because they are operating in a discriminatory way towards anybody who's not basically aligned with eugenics-based, hyper-modern neoliberalism with a smattering of Maoist ideology. I mean, they're just banning everything now, and it's beyond Chinese level. I mean, they're banning stuff China doesn't ban. This is next level. So tell folks about your video that's gone viral where you say you're done.
I'm done with YouTube until they change their policies or until they signal that they're going to change them, Alex. I mean, Congressman Dana Rohrabacher came out with a quote last night: "The mistreatment of conservatives and libertarians by tech monopolies is a civil rights issue." And that's what it comes down to. It's Google and Facebook. Those are the big two. Okay, I was banned by Facebook yesterday, get this, Alex, for posting a picture of a famous ginger YouTuber who made a parody joke video about feminism 18 months ago, who was in on the joke, And because I posted a picture of it, again, 18 months ago,
I posted a picture of
which
it, and he
obviously
got banned
offended
for
some
making fun of
feminists,
feminism.
they banned me on Facebook.
Making a joke.
So literally, Facebook is now being run by the same people who screamed bloody murder.
And let's
about this
explain
James
something.
Morgan.
You're a public figure attacked in newspapers and TV every day. So am I. If we don't have speech, no one is. They want to destroy us with straw men, not let us respond. And let's explain. You had Facebook videos, Paul, with 30 million views, some of them each. I mean, bigger than CNN. That's why they took you down. That's why they're trying to ban PewDiePie, because they don't want anybody they don't control with a voice. Yes, folks, Paul had close to 1 billion views on his personal Facebook page. We have billions and billions on ours as well. And they annihilated it for Coppercap, who I know is a listener and friends with Paul. I mean, for having fun videos about patriarchy rules the world.
Coppercap's a joke.
We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. This is incredible. They're moving against us. But we're fighting back. It's a civil rights violation. You are organized and racketeering against us.
Okay, so you can see that. You can just Google it yourself.
He's one of my favorite YouTubers.
Who is?
Yeah.
Paul Joseph.
Oh,
Watson.
he's great.
Exactly. Same here. I've listened to him. What is it? His stuff. And one of the things that he got banned on what is it? Sorry. One of the things he's getting his stuff demonetized, banned. What is it? Downvoted in terms of popularity on YouTube. But not actually downvoted by the people, rather downvoted by YouTube's algorithm and being made to not appear up on the trending list. One of these videos was a video on modern architecture and why it sucks. Why it is simply just, well, at least modern architecture.
I saw that. It was funnier than hell.
Exactly.
It was great.
It was good. And actually it wasn't that political in general. It was rather architectural.
No, it wasn't political at all.
Well, yeah, maybe.
It was just funnier than bleep. It really was.
Exactly.
Hey, we only have 3 minutes before the top of the hour. Let's take our caller here, Rick in Nampa, Idaho. Rick is a special friend of KSCO who's been waiting a long time. You're on the air now, Rick, with Robert and MZ.
Well, hello there.
Give this man his own show.
That's what everybody says.
I'm interested.
Yeah, he should be on Alex Jones, Hagman and Hagman.
We can get you on
Yes.
Alex. You
Really?
want to get on Alex?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, we'll
Cool.
Yeah. All right. But we got to get your show up and running.
Yeah.
first.
Of course.
Okay. So.
Well, they're demonetizing all YouTube videos as far as.
I don't know. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Rick. I'm talking over you.
Sorry.
I'll be quiet. You talk.
Yes, they're demonetizing all YouTube videos. If you Google in YouTube demonetizes transgender and gay LGBT or whatever, they're demonetizing Christian websites and even cat videos. If you listen to the Alex Jones thing long enough,
they'll never touch Muslims though.
Yeah, and I don't see any of these liberal-leaning people complaining about their rights being violated. They're all piling on everybody else, you know. So, and I really appreciate what you're doing. You're giving me hope for the younger generation. And
thank you.
Yeah, right. But the unfortunate thing, and I don't mean to cast a pall, I want to be totally positive, but there aren't too many like Robert that I've met, unfortunately.
Yeah, and there are a few that I know. There are a few people around my town, my school, and my social circles that I do know who have had similar problems with the school. One of which is I'd like to give a shout out to my friend Will Ransom. I don't want to list that much more about him, but as far as I can describe him, he's a pretty cool guy, and he's recently been my friend. Although before then we were kind of at odds with one another. But this recent politicizing of everything, everyone becoming so divisive, has brought us to the point of being friends, because we've had similar problems in school.
Right, that's called divide and conquer.
Exactly.
And what the school officials are doing is they're projecting their own psychological, mental disorders on you,
Exactly.
and they need to be evaluated.
Yeah. It's like the inmates running the asylum. That's something that I've compared it to.
Hey, Jason, did you get the email from Troy?
No, I haven't checked.
It's a terrible email from Troy.
Really?
It's sick. It's sick. Yeah, I mean, I want to read it, but I don't want to read it. You know what? It's unbelievably.
And
should I read it? It's not complimentary towards Robert.
Oh, come on.
Huh?
What is it? Go for it.
Go for it?
Yeah, sure. Go
This
for it.
kid is a sociopath, always blaming someone else. Everything he has to say is someone else's fault. Kid needs therapy.
Yeah. School said I need therapy. Everyone said I was a sociopath.
Okay. More about this on the next hour. KSCO Santa Cruz, Salinas, Monterey, San Jose. It is this clock right? It's 11 o'clock?
5 seconds.
Oh, okay. It said 11 o'clock in 3, 2, 1. Here it is. Okay. Yeah.
We'll get Robbie a straight jacket.
CBS News, I'm Bill Rakoff. It's tense in Charlottesville, Virginia, after clashes today and last night between white nationalists and counter-protesters. There's word that a car has just hit several counter-protesters, with several reported injured. This follows fighting in the streets earlier between the so-called Unite the Right marchers and counter-protesters. CBS's Paula Reed is in Charlottesville reporting on the center of this protest.
This park is significant because this is Emancipation Park. It used to be called Robert E. Lee Park. There is a statue of Robert E. Lee in this park that the city of Charlottesville is possibly going to take down. That has drawn attention from a lot of alt-right groups that argue that they're trying to rewrite history, particularly as they have described it, white history.
Local resident Gina Calabresi says there's been plenty of rational conversation about the future of that General Lee statue, at least until today.
Most people look at it as commemorating the fight for slavery. A lot of people, and I've heard black people included, feel that the statue should stay up because of its reminder of Jim Crow and what it stood for. Some people see it as really the fall of the South.
Several injuries and arrests are reported. The president tweeted a short time ago, quote, "We must all be united and condemn all that hate stands for. There is no place for this kind of violence in America. Let's come together as one." Well, the president's holding his tough line on North Korea, but as CBS's Errol Barnett reports, diplomacy isn't dead yet.
Despite the heated rhetoric, the AP reports of ongoing back-channel communications between Pyongyang and Washington. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and U.S. Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley met with the president in Bedminster yesterday as they try to reassure allies that diplomacy is the first option.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says there's still no idea who's behind the apparent planting of sonic devices in or near the homes of U.S. diplomats in Cuba.
We've not been able to determine who is to blame. We do hold the Cuban authorities responsible for the safety and security of all of our people, just as every host country has a responsibility for safety and security.
As CBS's Steve Dorsey was the first to report, a number of U.S. personnel in Cuba were forced to seek medical treatment after reporting hearing loss and other maladies. 2 Cuban diplomats in the U.S. were sent home in response. Taylor Swift's allegation that a former radio DJ groped her during a photo session, bringing attention to a common outrage. A 2014 survey found nearly 1 in 4 women in the U.S. were groped or brushed up against in public. But many never talked about it, let alone went to the police. And a single Mega Millions ticket sold in Illinois matched all 6 winning numbers Friday night. Nick Andrikopoulos owns Nick Barbecue, where the winning ticket was sold.
That's pretty amazing. Yes, it's pretty shocking. So we can't believe it, and we're very happy and very excited.
This is CBS News.
I'm Scott Tannen, founder of Boll & Branch, where you can get the world's most comfortable sheets for less than half of what you'd pay in the store. Our sheets are made from 100% organic cotton and get softer over time. Even 3 U.S. presidents have Boll & Branch sheets. Try them for 30 nights. If you don't love them, send them back for a full refund. Go to bollandbranch.com today for $50 off your first set of sheets, plus free shipping with promo code SLEEP. Spelled B-O-L-L and branch.com. That's bollandbranch.com, promo code SLEEP.
This is a court-ordered notice. Current and former BMW, Mazda, Subaru, and Toyota owners or lessees can receive payments and other benefits from a legal settlement related to allegedly defective Takata airbags in their vehicles. To see if your vehicle is included and to file a claim, go to autoairbagsettlement.com or call 1-888-735-5596. That's autoairbagsettlement.com or 1-888-735-5596.
It must be, it has to be, with that big sound it's gotta be KSCO.
You're listening to KSCO, serving Aromas, the Carmel Highlands, and Paraiso Springs.
Good morning. You're listening to AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz, KSCO.com. And we are streaming live on YouTube at the KSCO Global channel. Just Google search for KSCO Global. That is our YouTube channel. Live videos at the top. Quick look at the traffic. Highway 1 north through Aptos. Down to about 20 miles an hour until you get to 41st. Highway 17 southbound through the Cats heavy. Backed up to Campbell. 101 southbound heavy through Morgan Hill and again towards Gilroy. 20 miles an hour there. Northbound heavy after Sargent toward Gilroy. It's about 2 miles and back up there at 5 miles an hour. Southbound heavy toward Prunedale. 5 miles an hour. Backed up for about a mile. Highway 1 in Monterey County looks good. Maybe a little slow down there as you head south through Carmel by the sea. Other roadways look good. High 60s, mid 70s today along the coast. 80s to 90s inland. It's 11:07. Time for Hour 2 of the Saturday Special with your host, MZ.
All right, before we start hour number 2 officially, we have none other than Dave Michaels himself, the pilot in command of Flight 1080, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
That's right.
Hey, Dave, you are here, and the Dave Cave is in full swing.
We are in full swing. We have everything. We got a shipment in, a pretty good shipment in, about a week and a half ago, so we still have a lot of everything left. If you still want to stop by, that would include a BTT, Arthrodex, Healthy Start packs. We have all that stuff. I have also some Dr. Wallach videos. If someone should go to jail, I have some of those for sale. We've got a whole bunch of stuff out there.
Do we have any promotions? Do we have anything to ping people, an extra? Maybe I was thinking about the laundry detergent.
Yes,
if you get a Healthy Start pack, give them a laundry detergent or something like that.
You know what else I could use too? I could use some empty containers. So if you could bring some empty containers in, I'll give you a $1 for each one or something like that. We'll get you hooked up. But I could use some empty containers so I could take them on the road for displays.
See, and you if you like people, they get a better deal.
Sure. Right. Sure. And again, if I don't like them, I charge them double.
Yes, exactly. Right. Okay. See, this is but you're more likely to like people than not like them, right? Not really.
I'll be out there till 2, so if you get a chance to stop by. I've got videos, books, and everything else you could want. I'll be out there till 2 p.m.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Dave, and continued great success to you. And let that be a signal to all of you folks out in KSCO Radio land. It's great fun to come and visit with Dave in the Dave Cave and make yourself healthier and hopefully live longer in the process. Okay, let's start hour number 2. Okay.
Oh, hello, darling. I hate to hang up on you, but I'm sorry, baby, but I have to go. It's time for that wonderful record show. I'd love to visit, but you'll have to call back. KSCO has the inside track.
Well, how are y'all feeling today? Are you enjoying the Saturday special? If not, what's wrong with you? Start enjoying it.
I'm sorry, baby, but I really gotta go to KSCO Radio. Bye.
You know what that sound is? It's me shaking a serving of BTT 2.0 in my 16.9 ounce bottle, plastic bottle of water because I'm about to consume it. Now, has this ever happened to you? You thought that the cap was secure, but it wasn't, and when you shook it, it went all over yourself?
No, it didn't go in the board.
No, it didn't go in the board.
Thank God.
It went in the computer, but not the board. No, not really. I have to keep shaking it to mix it up because though the congealed, not dissolved a BTT powder tastes delicious, it's a little too concentrated if it's not, what's the word, Robert? I mean,
Salt, right?
Huh?
If it's not completely dissolved or
correct.
Diluted.
Yeah, diluted, that's the word.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, in order to make it absolutely perfect, I should add Youngevity Beyond Osteo FX, gluten-free and shellfish and allergen-free to the same thing. Yeah, and I think I've got it. I've got the cap secured, so now I'm going to open it up again, and I'm going to tear open this wonderful Osteo FX thing, and I'm going to pour that in and then shake it up. Now, that doesn't dissolve as well, but it does. And I have tennis elbow still, so it's not good for me to shake with that arm. So I'm going to shake with the other arm. Okay? Yeah, there it is. I mean, I'm saying in advance because I know it's going to taste good because I've had this many times before, and it's going to make me strong. Yeah, I'm a pretty weak 65-year-old, and so I want to get stronger. So I have to never forget to consume this great stuff. All right, we're back here. We're going to open the phone lines, 479-1080, 479-1080. That's in area code 831. If you're outside the area code, you will have to dial the 830 area code plus 479-1080 to get in. You want to talk to Robert or me about what can and should be done? Robert came up with a great idea. It just blurted out of his mouth. He said we need a new platform that's fair and reasonable.
Yeah, for video sharing.
Yeah. So maybe we should call it KSCO Tube. You know, because we're fair, and I mean, I personally can't stand, the way people think that you have described today.
Yeah.
But I would never prevent them from having a voice here on KSCO. But they don't want to they don't want to have a voice on KSCO. And because we're racist and we're terrible people, and because we want to be a voice for everyone, that makes us terrible. So that's something that's needed because Facebook got to be so huge. I mean, this Zuckerberg little pipsqueak. I mean, but you gotta give him credit for coming up with what he did.
Well, he's done
I think
well,
it's very.
but
I think it's
don't like
very
his idea of censorship.
Right. That's the problem I have, and no other problem. I mean,
otherwise
people,
it's a nice platform.
It's a wonderful platform, Facebook. But
and
the
YouTube,
more I
YouTube
hear about it,
the best YouTube.
The more I hear about these platforms practicing control, mind control, and censorship, the more disturbed I become about even using them myself. And it's really hard because I've gotten to be a huge user of YouTube.
Yeah.
And I watch a lot of things on it. There's
Same
absolutely
here.
no reason
I get all my music off YouTube.
to subscribe to a cable television. There's no reason in the world to subscribe. You don't even need you subscribe to a YouTube channel for free.
Exactly. And I get a lot of my music through YouTube. I listen to radio shows through YouTube because I don't know. I don't actually have a working radio anymore. Or things like that. But as a response to the people who will claim YouTube is a private company and they can do what they want, or sorry, Google is a private company and they can do what they want with their platform. Well,
they
can,
but
they are a monopoly on video sharing. They basically have a monopoly on video sharing, and Google as the default search engine for most computers, and or I'd say with Apple computers, the default search engine, and in many cases does have almost a monopoly on the internet. And for example, Google on advertising, or Facebook on although challenge Facebook. Okay, the big social networks, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and others. Okay, Instagram's more of a narcissism platform, but where you share pictures of yourself. But they are very, what is it? They are very quick to censor conservative views or similar, such as Watson getting kicked off Facebook simply for making a copper cab joke, when As far as he said, Coppercap was in on the joke too, which I never thought that he wasn't a. I thought that he was a troll, but then I also thought that he was serious about whatever it was that he did. Although I'm not sure. He could just be a joker, but or like what is it? Other people on Facebook, they'll always go after the people that don't have the biggest following, so there isn't any backlash whenever they disappear.
Why are they going after Watson then? Because he has a huge following, like Alex Jones.
Because they feel that they've built up on their
that they've created a monster. Maybe.
Yes. And that the backlash from the people who would come to defend him would be a whole lot less than already the people who would oppose him on that platform. But the deal with it is that the people who would come up to defend him also get their stuff silenced, also get their posts silenced already. So they'll do things like change like-dislike ratios. This has been documented by whistleblowers many times, such as the idea of removing subscribers on YouTube. That is something that I know some people who have had that problem. Black Pigeon Speaks, Angry Foreigner, what is it? Sargon of Akkad, Skeptic Community. Those were bad examples. But, okay, they were good examples. But or even what is it? Or Paul Joseph Watson even. He has had subscribers removed or that will not get an update or a ping whenever a new video is uploaded. In fact, I have never gotten a notification whenever one of those channels would post a video, and yet when I get something like a music channel that's completely unrelated post a video, it'll always show up on my screen as a notification. Which seems kind of odd.
Are you suggesting that when you subscribe to something and ask to be notified that you're
even click the bell, even click the notify me bell, they won't. A lot of the times they won't give you the notification for them. I think there's some sort of like blacklist that they have these people on, for do not notify when a new video comes out or when they on like Facebook. I don't know, on Facebook they'll like downvote something in terms of popularity. Or it won't show up on the trending popular feed, even if a lot of people either subscribe to it or are sharing it, which is somewhat weird. And yet things like how to teach your kid to be transgender from age 1 is that not at the top of the list, but won't be and also won't be I don't know, won't be the term shadow banned is the one that people use so far, but it won't be considered as something that shouldn't be up on the front page. Now, what you see on the front page, music, usually music videos always these popular music videos. You don't see things like and all of them are like auto-tune trash. You know what I'm saying?
No, what do you mean?
No, I mean like edited and it's I don't know. A lot of people will say that it's not realistic music. That it's all it's all fake. The people the pop stars are mainly just people who are a computer algorithm with a person behind it as a face.
Package for the masses.
Yes, package for the masses, and the messages in many trending popular videos are very, very clear that they are doing things like what is it, people like I don't know, people will, for example, during the election time, they pop stars in general and most and a lot of people out there, like from, well, especially Hollywood and the pop music singers would say things such as what is it? Well, would come out and say things such as what is it? I hate Donald Trump and we need to impeach him and before, and actually some people said that before he even got elected, which is funny enough. Or said that what is it? They got behind, and plenty of them got behind movements who are inciting political violence, as the aforementioned Antifa, Black Bloc, Black Lives Matter, in their greatest form. And again, they'll always take the side that if you're against it, you're against you. For example, calling their movement Black Lives Matter was a very smart idea, because if you oppose them, then they're gonna say, oh, you think Black lives don't matter? Well, then you're a racist. If you say something like, well, all lives matter, you can't just specifically call what is it? I mean, you can't if you're gonna say that someone matters, you have to, I mean, you can't just selectively what is it? I mean, sure, you can choose to protect one group in terms of your message, but they will never call out their own followers' violent acts as violence, or in compared to, for example, what is it? Or as political violence, and the mainstream media will never really call out Antifa or similar as doing, what is it, as taking part in inciting actual violence at their rallies, such as the riots that you hear about, like Berkeley, where Milo went to speak.
I want to read an email that's come in, but before I do that, I want to comment that I am blown away by the number of phone calls we have.
Really?
0. I thought we would have a full board for the whole show.
Something.
Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. Unless the phones, maybe the phone system is out. Maybe it's down. Hey, Jason, is it possible the phone system is down?
No, they're working.
Well, I guess I'm just out of my mind, and maybe there's
Hey,
nobody.
something's
Well,
ringing.
here's someone's calling now, but why? We've only received one phone call, and that was last hour before I even invited the
I don't know.
phones to
Take
ring.
the phone call.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Oh, okay.
And now, now we get a couple of phone calls will trickle in. What is wrong with you people? I mean, how often do you get a chance to talk to someone like Robert? What is wrong with you people? 479-1080. I don't want to beg for phone calls. If you don't want to call, don't call. Maybe my whole premise is wrong. I thought this guy is refreshing, and a lot of people would want to talk to him. But obviously I'm wrong. We have 2 people on the line. Colonel Terry, of course, he calls all the shows, because, that's just what he does. Right, Colonel Terry?
No, I don't call all the shows.
Okay, you call every show where we put the word out that we need help, like
Well,
I
I
just did, because you're so intelligent.
I also call when I have smart things to say. That
Which
are
is
relevant,
always.
okay, to the topic.
Right.
And on the big picture of what you seem to be discussing today is we have a national conversation and we have a local conversation and we have a neighborhood conversation now on social media, as well as all the other mechanisms ranging from television channels to YouTube in particular. And sometimes groups discriminate that are the conduits of that national conversation or local or specific or topical conversation. Does Robert agree with me?
Yeah. Yes.
And now we had a thing, Robert, called we have free speech, and we also had a thing called the fairness doctrine in those mechanisms of communication that were regulated by the Federal Communications Commission.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall knowing about the fair, the balanced, and MZ knows a lot about it.
They never taught us about that in school, but I would.
It went out. It went out when you were minus 15 years old.
Okay.
Okay. All right. bring him up to speed on it, MZ, because you're an expert on
fill
it.
me in.
Oh, God, I was just chewing some things that I shouldn't be chewing with the microphone off. Now you made me turn on the microphone. All right, hold on. The fairness doctrine, Robert, was in place for many, many years. It was a rule from the Federal Communications Commission that directed all licensed radio and television stations to, if they provided a political point of view, if they espoused a political point of view, they had to give equal time to the other political point of view. Okay?
Or it didn't have to espouse it, just broadcast.
At least broadcast it.
Right.
Okay. View. They had to find somebody
Exactly.
who would
Yeah.
offer either
Thank
a counter.
you. Thank you, Colonel Terry. So yeah, and you'll catch me if I'm missing something important, which I just did.
Fine.
Reagan came on board, and I think it was 1987, the Reagan administration succeeded in getting the fairness doctrine dropped. Now, Rush Limbaugh in 1991 became very, very popular. He started doing his national show in 1988. But by the time of the Gulf War, Desert Storm and all that, in 1991, which was the first year that I owned this station, okay, talk radio sort of came into its own then. And there were tremendous calls from the left that there be a return to the fairness doctrine, that it be reinstated.
Yes.
Okay, so that stations couldn't. I guess the hope was to get Rush Limbaugh off the air somehow. Or somehow, or people like Michael Savage later on, any kind of conservative or libertarian viewpoint, anything that wasn't politically correct and so forth. So far, it hasn't come back, and I don't think it will now. During the Trump administration. But so go ahead, Colonel Terry. Is that enough of an explanation?
And we've done just fine without it.
Yeah.
Well, you did excellent. However, I think there's a third way, Robert, and that is for the broadcaster producers like MZ to say, we're only going to broadcast what's informed, accurate, and smart. There's a criteria to apply.
Well, wait a second, Terry. That's probably what YouTube and Facebook are doing now. They're probably, they've appointed themselves as the arbiter of what is. And I disagree with you, Colonel Terry. Yeah, okay. I want to broadcast smart things. And I say, sort of tongue-in-cheek, that we don't allow stupid people to listen to KSCO, but we know there's a whole slew of them listening, that there's no way in the world we're ever going to catch up to them and take drastic action, to prosecute, right? We know that that's not going to happen realistically, okay? But I don't agree with you. When you said only smart things should be, should be allowed, because then we're just as bad as what we're complaining about.
Yeah. I mean, everyone should have a platform, and everyone should have their platform though.
And I thought that YouTube and Facebook provided that, but apparently it's not for everyone.
They need to be a neutral and universal platform. They were supposed to originally be a universal platform. YouTube for you, for the people, for each person to create their channel, either make their videos or watch others' videos and share them. And it was some form of social network, I'd say. But now it's become more of a media form, the way maybe a news company would be, or Google, a search engine originally. But you'd see they do things like every single day they have a new kind of, almost like they have a new drawing on their front page, almost as on their search page. I'd say almost as politically motivated for sure, but if there's such a big and universal system, then they really should be neutral in terms of politics.
Right, but look at what's happened. Look at how the journalism and the news business has degenerated.
Yeah.
In the last 30, you can't remember.
Well, I don't know, but I mean within the last 5 years or so, even.
Oh, it's gotten way, way worse. But just as Roger Ailes, who was the creator, he was not the financial backer. A guy named Rupert Murdoch was the money money behind Fox News Channel. But it was Roger Ailes' idea. He was the guy who came up with. He found a need and filled it.
Yeah.
And the need that he found was balance in news reporting. News reporting had stopped being journalism many years before that, and everything had become tilted in favor of the liberal point of view.
It seems like an opinion piece instead of an actual like report on something.
Yeah, and now there is no such thing. I don't know of any such thing anywhere.
I don't see unbiased reporting at all.
Yeah, which is very, very sad. We do our best in our little local radio station way to provide a voice for everyone.
Yeah,
but we don't have the funds to go out and become a news organization that would practice journalism. God, I'd love that. Maybe we should do a GoFundMe operation to create the KSCO tube.
Yeah, and I'd like to draw attention
News.
to a specific YouTuber named Tim Pool. If you know who he is.
No.
All right. Well. I've seen some of his works, especially on the Stockholm Rinkeby case, and he has done well to first of all to not be overly political about things, to not be too divisive, and to not be too biased in general. What I mean is he'll talk to everyone, and he won't put his own spin on everything.
All right, MZ, in brief, I have a solution, suggestion, improvement that I think we can all agree with across the political spectrum. And that is we want our office holders, our elected office holders at City Council, the Board of Supervisors, and in the Congress to be honest with us. And here's how to make them to be honest. Require that they meet for 90 minutes once a month with a randomly selected group of their constituents to be broadcast, and they must answer the constituents' questions during that hour. Secondly, require these office holders during business hours to wear a camera like a policeman would with a microphone, so that all of their official and unofficial meetings and activities are available to the elected populace to review. Let's see what deals they're cutting. Let's see what private meetings they're having, and then even public meetings, so they are observed, so that we have a more honest, responsive, and accountable elected government. Robert, would you agree that might be a solution?
Yes. No more off the books. No more off the books ops. The way of politicians, because whenever they do stuff behind the back of the voters, there's a
reason they want to hide it.
There's always a reason, and I consider them to be betraying the voters again.
Okay. All right, now listen, Colonel Terry. Thank you. I got it. There's a bunch of other callers. It's not jammed up. There's still two or three others. I want to jam it up before the show is over. 479-1080. But thank you, Colonel Terry, for calling 479-1080. Okay, and we've got Dino will be up next. Dino in Scotts Valley. But hold there, and then we all have Tom B. and we have Gordy at Deer Creek. And we want a bunch of other people to call 479-1080. But I have another negative email directed at you.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read it?
Go for it.
Okay. And I'm very sad about this because
I take them as jokes.
It's come from no. Well,
no.
Whatever.
I laugh at it, but
okay.
I can understand people.
Okay.
People wouldn't like my ideas.
The Little Bully.
Yeah.
Okay. This is from my friend Bon. This is a friend of mine. Okay. I agree. The kid has issues. He looks for trouble and finds it. That being said, I happen to agree that Sweden is too politically correct and enforces a groupthink which I am firmly against in reality. Sweden is responsible for her immigration policies. People like Robert blame the victims, not the policies that created the refugees.
I don't blame the victims. I blame specifically Lufven and his cabinet and Mona Sahlin.
Okay. Reminds me of the Georgia mindset.
Yeah.
After listening to this tribe, I believe that Robert should embrace his and Muslim views. Be proud of your bigotry and not crouch behind code words. Lousy show, MZ. Giving this kid a platform is beneath you. And that's from my friend Bob, who was a guest on this show and a frequent. I wish he would call now. Maybe he'll call in. He's a very, very bright man.
Call me what you will. I don't care.
And he's Bob had the cancer surgery and is doing well, thank God. You know. So anyhow, 479-1080. That's an area 831 MZ at KSCO.com. Is the phone number to call, is the email address to use. Help the kid out. He is articulate and courageous and giving you a show. That's true. Yeah, you're helping me have a good show today.
Right.
So this is good. Okay, back to the phone lines. Here's Dino in Scotts. I think it's Scotts Valley. Hi, Dino.
Hello.
Hey there. You know, I want to give this kid some good encouragement, and because there's a market for younger people that can see the light, and it's just really refreshing, you know, to hear a college kid.
Thank you.
Talk and you know, just not go along with the brainwashing.
Yeah. And
it's crazy the way they're trying to warp our kids into
you
I don't even
you haven't seen the least of it. You haven't seen the worst of it, I mean, but whatever. Continue.
Yeah, right on. So check it out. You get with Michael, get yourself a good mentor, man.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be listening.
All right.
I want to hear more of
Yeah.
you. All right, keep it up.
For sure. I'm interested for sure, and I have some time. I got plenty of time during the day, as in homeschooled. I'm not gonna have all my time taken up by school, and again, it's summertime too. I'm definitely interested in appearing more on platform. You know.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Thank you,
Dino. Thank you for calling. Tom B in Santa Cruz. Google control,
Morning,
Facebook
MZ.
control. Hey, you're on.
Morning, Robert.
Hello.
Hey, you know, MZ, what happened was we used to have newspapers, and it was the power of the purse. If the newspaper didn't print what the people wanted, they didn't buy it. Then we switched to this free interweb platform. What's happened is we gave up the control to the Googles, to the Facebook, to the YouTube, and we have no recourse now because there is no power of the purse unless
There's also no alternative.
we all just stop using it. And,
Right.
And
That's what you're talking about, right?
There's no big alternative either.
No, we voluntarily gave it up. We were.
Yep.
It's like boiling the frog. And then they took away all of our print media. Now it's all on the interweb anyways, and you go in the Sentinel and you look at the print Sentinel and it's got one version, one body of content, and you go online and it has another body of content. It's really something that they boiled the frog on us.
Yeah.
I got sucked in like everybody else. And Robert, I'm MZ's age. Actually, I'm older than MZ, but I appreciate you getting up as a young person and voicing an alternative view to most of the younger generations. Not an opposing, just alternative, and that's what our whole nation was founded on.
Tom, appreciate your call. Got a bunch of other calls to go to.
Yes,
so
our nation.
Thank you so much for calling in. Bon from Tahoe is on the line, but I want to be in fairness to Gordy, who's been waiting a long time here. I want to put him on first. Go ahead, Gordy. You're on.
Hello.
Hi. First, I want to give kudos to this young man, Robert.
Thank you.
This gives me hope. Look, I'm an old fart myself. Look, I'm 71 years old. I'm a disabled veteran. What I need to say here is I'll start with a quote from Justice Douglas. This goes, the only relevant minority in America is the minority of one, the individual. The government of all should be partial to none. Now, what we've got going on here is we have groups that get so big that they eliminate the competition, i.e. the individual,
And that's what they're all about. They want to stifle competition because they can't stand to be exposed to transparency or the truth. So again, I want to thank you very much for giving me some hope here. There are a few other people out there. There's more individuals than there are groups. Okay, and if we as individuals can understand this, that we have more power than these huge groups, whether it's the big oil corporations that put out the small dealers, or the big banks that put out the little local banks,
or the European Union.
The European, the UN.
For sure.
The UN.
The UN, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's about all I have to say here. The individual is more important than groups, period.
Yeah.
So don't allow yourself, and I know you're not, to get labeled or to put in a group, because if you're in a group, you lose your identity as an individual.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you very much. And
thank you, Gordy. Okay, here's Bon at Tahoe. Bon,
hey,
you're on.
Hello.
Okay.
How you doing?
Good, Bon. Nice to know you're getting better and better. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, aside from the nausea, I think in a few weeks I'll be back to my old fighting weight. I'll be doing that.
Great. Okay. Now,
anyway.
wait. I want to ask you a question here. It doesn't surprise me at all that you don't agree with Robert. But
really?
what I saw in the email that disturbed me, that made me sad, was you seemed to be saying that I should stifle him too. Because we're talking about giving him his own show.
Well,
I think you are opposed to that. Am I correct?
Yeah, well, I actually think it like this. One George is enough. We really don't need two. But that's just me.
All right.
You know, so the if you're asking, he's a smart kid.
You would love it if I pulled Georgia, though. Am I right?
I told you many times that I would never encourage you to pull Georgia.
Okay, you're right. Forgive me. You did say that. But you are saying, I just heard you say one Georgia is enough. So you don't.
I mean, how much hate do we need? I mean, really.
So
I mean,
you think what you've heard Robert said is hate speech today?
Not particularly. It's very subtle. It's full of the usual code words. It's that very low-level encouragement of bigotry, just like I hear. We hear this stuff all the time. This is what Berlin did in 1933. This is the same thing. Separate, divide, conquer. That's just me.
Okay. You have a response to anything that?
Yes. Making an analogy to Berlin in 1933, it just seems that seems somewhat disingenuous because, well, keep in mind,
as a
Nazis.
Jew, you're talking to the wrong guy about disingenuous.
I too am of Jewish heritage, but
then you should know better than this, kiddo.
No.
You should know a lot better.
Keep in mind, the Nazis were National Socialists. They were not nationalists. Well, rather, they were nationalists of Germany, but they were National Socialists. And
first of all, that's incorrect.
What?
Stop right there.
What were they?
They were never socialists. They were
never socialists.
But they were also. If you know about you're so smart.
Yeah.
Then you would know about the Night of the Long Knives, where the socialists were actually sworn to fealty to Hitler, funded by the right wing, not the left wing, and they kept the name, they kept certain socialist policies, but it was a right-wing organization paid for by Krupp and the various industrialists. And if you were as smart as you think you are, you would know that. Take care, MZ.
Wait a minute. Are you leaving?
Don't claim to be intentionally or.
He left. I'm surprised. He left.
Such is life in the zone.
Huh?
Such is life in the zone. Reference. Such is life.
Okay. All right. Now we have no callers.
Oh well.
We don't even have we do have a traffic alert, do
I
we?
just got the weirdest call ever. Weirdest.
What happened?
Oh man! First the guy he was cursing. He was definitely frustrated. He wanted to talk to you guys, but he wanted to talk to you off the air.
Oh.
And then he started asking me all these weird questions, like, should I go north, south, east, or west? And I was like, well, what do you mean? I was like, do you need, like, traffic info? And he's all, just something, just anything. And then, you know what I mean? It was like one of those type of calls where
crazy.
I mean, he was, oh, man. I don't even know how to describe it. He wanted help from me, but he didn't even know, like, how to talk, pretty much. But he was demanding assistance, but he didn't even know how to ask a specific question. It was weird.
No more callers.
No more callers?
They're all gone. We chased them away.
Someone's calling. Look.
Even Bond.
It's ringing. It's ringing.
Even Bond hung up. I was looking forward to him having a nice, engaging discussion with you and him.
Mm-hmm.
Just like he did one of the best, debates that we had. It was very civil. It was between him and Georgia. Oh, and speaking of Georgia, this just in from Georgia to my email.
Yeah.
MZ, please send me Robert's contact information.
Yes,
I want
yes.
him on my show as he is speaking my language, only not as loudly as it needs to be heard.
Huh?
As for your liberal friends who email you and call you, including Bob, who clearly lost his debate with me, just ask your audience. Bob only wants his liberal side heard. One Georgia is not enough. Too many liberal idiots like Bob trying to use censorship because they cannot win an argument.
Yep.
You need to change your idea that only smart people listen to KSCO. Bob is a closet hater, and that's signed Georgia.
And they'll always say it's hate. And well, thank you there.
Anyhow, it seems to me like you and Georgia are on the same page.
Well, I'd like to.
You heard a little bit of Georgia. Not yesterday. I tuned in. I wanted you to hear Georgia yesterday, but instead Vernon was on. He's great too, and you got to meet him, and you were on promoting this show yesterday with Vernon. But you did get to hear a little bit of Georgia from last week, I think, right? And you seemed to be quite, positively influenced.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So there you have it.
People are calling.
Now I think we're gonna hit it. I think we're gonna hit to jammed phone lines. I think we're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Right
I
now.
I see the indicator there's flashing or something.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to the
callers.
To the callers here.
Yeah,
okay, Tim in Felton. Welcome to the Saturday Special with Robert and MZ.
Well, thank you very much.
Hello there.
Hi, Tim.
I wanted to praise you, MZ, for not having an animosity against Alex Jones. I remember a couple of weeks ago you kind of alluded that he cut into the longevity business.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he has a right to do that, but I don't have a right to have my station used to compete with me. And I don't think that was very nice, but he certainly has the right to do that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people got upset with me for that, and they said I should rise above it. And if I think what Alex has to say is important, which I do, then leave him on and just look the other way. So that's where we're sort of leaning in that direction at the moment.
Yeah,
so go ahead, Tim. You're on. I mean, you want to talk to Robert?
No, actually, I just wanted to praise you for rising above it like you did, and
okay,
not.
Well, I want to keep you on for the rest of the show because it's very rare that I get praised for anything, but I like it very very much. Thank you.
Well, if you want, I will criticize you.
No, we don't want that at all.
No, it's not a criticism, but it is a question that's been looming for me. If KSCO is not profitable,
yes,
why do you want to open a whole new endeavor up in the Bay Area?
Oh, because we will start out running it correctly.
Wouldn't that
instead
be
of instead of starting out running it idiotically from a business perspective. Nothing against anybody. I love every talk host here and every staff member like they're my family. But I'm the one, it's when the fish stinks, it stinks from the head. And apparently I didn't get that across the other day. And they didn't get that across in the newspaper, although I thought they did an excellent. I don't think it could have been any better. The front page Sentinel article about the fact that KSCO is running on a deficit. And I choose to prop it up until now. And now I decided to let it out that this isn't going to go on forever. And that it's a damn good radio station that should have support from the people. And they say, oh, if I had a business, I'd advertise. Well, guess what? If you don't have a business, you can send us a few bucks. It's no big deal if you want us to stick around.
Yeah.
We're not proud.
Yeah.
So anyhow, does that make sense, Tim? And I know that you're Tim from Tim's Auto Electric, who used to have a show here.
I totally understand, and what you're doing is such a valuable resource.
Okay, good. Send money. Send money. Okay.
Yeah. Most important thing is to stay is for KSCO to stay independent.
Yeah.
To not
that's
be
the
enslaved
way.
to.
That's the way we can afford to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm lucky enough and have been for quite a number of years to make enough money in another business to pour all of that money or most of it into keeping this place alive.
Yes.
And that shouldn't be necessary. It's the best radio station on earth by itself already. So it should be able to keep itself alive. And it's the best kept advertising secret in the world. The only reason we're not loaded with advertisements is because I haven't said there shall be so much money's worth of advertising, or else we go away. And I finally said that, okay? So yes, we are in danger of going away or being different or changing the format. Yes, we are in danger of it. Very, very, very much. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. We're getting the word out, and we're doing what Alex Jones does. He reminds people every second. I mean, there isn't an hour that goes by where 20 minutes of that hour isn't Alex reinforcing the fact that he needs help, and he gets it. We've reinforced it once every 2 years. It's amazing we're still here. The only reason we are is because we have somebody who's been the benefactor. That's the only reason. Okay, next. Thank you, Tim. Next one will be liberal. Jim and PG.
Good on you for keeping independent alive. Here.
Thank you. Jim and PG, liberals and Nazi party. Go ahead, Jim. You're on.
First of all, thank you so much. It was a great show today.
Hey.
And I want to say the reason people didn't call in right away, there was kind of a gap, is that we were actually, I can only speak for myself, but I was stunned to hear what this young man was saying. I mean, we've heard stories about this happening, but to hear him say it, to find out it really is true, it's actually kind of stunning.
All right.
But in reference to your friend from Tahoe there, which I think you can dump that guy.
Now wait a minute. Was that a kind thing to say?
Well, I mean, he said some terrible things to this young man.
He's okay. It's okay to say terrible things, but to advocate that he not be heard, I think, is a terrible thing.
Well, he had his say, okay, and I think that's he's had enough of his say. But and the reason I say that is because he's that reference to the Nazi Party. The truth is that the modern day liberal complex is using Nazi tactics.
Yes,
themselves.
using Nazi tactics. The idea of the whole like YouTube and Facebook Gestapo type elimination of ideas, but they won't tell you that they're banned. They'll just disappear. They don't. Almost like I always draw comparison to like 1984 or Brave New World, what with the thought police and the thought policing online and in media in general that goes on.
That's a perfect comparison. It's like the Nazi Party has the tools that they had in 1984. They have way stronger tools than the Nazi Party ever had, and they're implementing them right now. And we need to be.
And actually,
Go ahead.
And actually, go look at for example, George Soros, even a former collaborator with the Nazi Party in their exploits and in their horrendous crimes against Jews. He himself was a Hungarian Jew, but he betrayed others for the sake of profit, and now he is the funding behind a lot of these organizations.
Okay, listen, Jim, appreciate your call to 479-1080. We have 3 other callers. If you are on hold now, we promise we will get you on in the fewer than 5 minutes that we have left. But thanks again for your call, Jim, from
Thank you.
Okay, next is Ron and Carmel. Hey, Ron, you're on.
Hello.
I also was listening to the young man's story, and he had some really interesting things to say. One of the things that he said brought up a parallel situation with me.
Yeah.
When I started in the Tea Party, we had people who were filing for 501c3 status, and if you recall, the IRS had a group who blocked many Tea Parties from getting their 501c3 status. In the investigations, there were things that were hanging on the walls, pictures and what all, that just shouldn't have been in the IRS, what do you want to call it, office of the organization that was approving the 501 status. And when the young man brought up the thing about the Marxist picture in the principal's office, I'm saying that wall belongs to the taxpayers.
Yes, it is a public school.
It's exactly, and I think somebody should get on that principal to basically change the decor of his office. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ron in Carmel. Here's Rich in Salinas. Hey, Rich.
Hello. Get rid of the principal.
that principal has been known to do similar things with people. For example, a anarcho-capitalist club. There are a lot of clubs at the school. An anarcho-capitalist club was the entire club was removed from the school, and the people in it. Simply because they endorsed the presidential candidate Donald Trump in his election run-up.
Right. They don't want you to talk about it. They don't want you to do anything other than what they want you to do. They're trying to beat you down, and you're not.
Yes.
You're not allowing them to beat you down like most of the kids. They'll go along. They believe the lies, and then they grow up that way, and they become miserable. But all of those isms are the same: Nazism, progressivism, liberalism.
They make voters.
They're all forms of control. That's all they are. Yes, all of them are forms of control, and you aren't allowing that to happen.
Yes.
Michael, you need to set up that GoFundMe account. I'll donate. People will donate for this guy, Robert, to get his program.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We also should do a GoFundMe account to create KSCO Tube, which would, if it grew to be as big as YouTube, we wouldn't censor people. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And you need to call it the Truth Tube if you want a name.
True Tube.
Like that.
You know, or like
Real
Tube or something. I don't know.
Real Tube or something.
And
anyhow,
and I don't know if there's any competition out there for you, Robert, because I don't know a whole bunch of 15-year-old kids out there with radio programs.
Well, they won't talk. They don't get a platform, and I know this because I've talked to everyone. They say that their only platform is online, in sometimes in social media or on YouTube when they make a YouTube account, but that gets deleted really quickly. They'll always go after the smaller people in terms of that.
All right,
and
thank you.
You can bring other guests on your age, on your side, but also the opposition, and see what the other people are talking about.
The opposition will never come on.
No, other kids that are thinking opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. Hope so. Hope I'm wrong on that. Anyhow, Rich, thanks for calling. Here's our last caller for the day, Downtown Al. You're on, Downtown Al.
Hey, first of all, there's only one Georgia, so you couldn't have another one.
Yeah.
And listen, I did not vote for George Bush, couldn't stand him, but I still listen to Rush Limbaugh all through the Bush administration. I like the diversity that you have on your station. Now, the only thing is, some of the programs that I do listen to, I'm not gay, but I listen to out in Santa Cruz because it's interesting. They need to get some sponsorship, though, and it should come out.
We're dealing with all that right now as we speak, and there are just so many to deal with. There's just there's just so many, but we are dealing with them, and they are going to be sponsored by other than me, or they won't have shows here anymore. God bless them. You know, I hope they can get online, but they won't have it here anymore. Hey,
and the other thing you might want to have them do is assure people who advertise or donate to them that it goes to support that show.
Absolutely. We didn't do a good job of that, but I will. Thank you, Downtown Al. Robert, thank you. That's the end of the show today. We'll hope to hear from you again soon.
Well, sure.
That's all, folks.
KSCO, Santa Cruz, Salinas, Monterey, San Jose. It is now 12 noon, and we will be starting the news.
KSCO, Santa Cruz.
CBS News, I'm Bill Rakoff. Protests in Charlottesville, Virginia have turned violent with clashes between white nationalists and counter-protests. Then, a short time ago, a car seemed to intentionally run down a crowd of protesters, injuring several people, some of them critically. CBS's Paula Reed is there.
Right now, we're in between ambulances. They're trying to clear the scene. A lot of people are very worked up. They're very upset. Either they came here today to protest the Robert E. Lee statue, where they came here to protest against the alt-right, or they're just mad that people are here in their town making all of this chaos. It's a very tense situation. Police are trying to keep everyone calm, but there's a lot of screaming, there's a lot of yelling, there's a lot of anger here.
Several people were also injured in the earlier clashes, which forced Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe to declare a state of emergency, police reporting a number of arrests. The president tweeted about the violence in Charlottesville, quoting, "We all must be united and condemned all that hate stands for. There is no place for that kind of violence in America. Let's come together as one." CBS's Errol Barnett on the president's response.
Many people have been calling for President Trump to speak up and speak louder, particularly because of some of the organizers and attendees who look to President Trump as really their champion. In fact, David Duke, who was a former Imperial Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, today at that rally said that this represents a turning point in the country. And he went on to say that this is why we voted for President Trump.
Now, the president's also expected to comment on the events in Charlottesville shortly from his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey. China's leader talking with Mr. Trump, urging calm in the middle of the angry rhetoric between the U.S. and North Korea. We get more from CBS's Steve Dorsey with the presidents.
The two talked after President Trump ratcheted up the rhetoric against North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and declaring the U.S. military as locked and loaded. In a warning to North Korea if it attacks any U.S. territory or ally. Chinese state-run TV said Xi told Mr. Trump, quote, relevant parties must maintain restraint and avoid words and deeds that would exacerbate the tension on the Korean peninsula.
The death toll rising amid rioting in Kenya over a disputed election. Here's Catherine Arms in Nairobi.
Protests in Kenya continued sporadically into Saturday as police moved in to break up crowds and contain disorder. Kisumu hospitals reported treating people with